Hello.
Hello.
Happy Halloween. You're watching Rocket League on the Arena. Serious Play's only show dedicated to esports. This week, we're playing the sportiest of all of the esports, Rocket League, also known as soccer.
Featuring a few cars.
Featuring a game you might be familiar with. Anyways, jokes aside, I'm your host, Eric, and we are live. I just double checked. And
We are, yep.
The volume looks okay. You can monitor that though when we have time. So this is a show where we play competitive games, typically known as esports, though not always relegated exclusively to esports. We try to understand how they work, how they tick, what's the culture around these games, as well as just having really engaging conversation about gaming and technology culture in general. I think that's probably fair to say.
Yes.
Joining me today, I'm Eric Kirsting, Planet PhD student, year 2, baby, woo! And with me are these two fabulous fellows and fellas.
I love that.
Nice.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, introduce
Daniel, you
yourselves.
gonna go? So I'm Janelle Malagon. I'm a first-year PhD student here in Plan H. Who are you?
I'm Daniel. I'm a Fulbright scholar visiting here at C21. Yes.
You're like so fancy.
No, not really.
But these guys are my co-hosts or something like that.
Close enough.
I don't know if Daniel's a co-host or just friend of the show.
Yeah.
Guy who comes every week.
Yes.
Yes.
Does everything a co-host does.
I don't have the same responsibilities.
Are we about to go into overtime? So Janelle started this game to make sure that it worked, because if you are a longtime fan of the show and you are the one person who has viewed our Rocket League video on YouTube, you know that we could not play online last time we tried to play this game. We just played against the computer with Kelly, which is good because she had never played the game.
We are into overtime.
But today, it's all about that Rocket League action, PvP, so to speak. It's funny how we don't use the words PvP like in any other context other than like in otherwise PvE games. Oh, Swish says it was a nice.
I done goofed.
It's okay. Rocket League. The first rule of Rocket League is that one mistake, you lose.
That's so
Like,
true.
It's really evident in 1v1s. But here, let me go ahead and I'm going to invite you
Okay.
to a party. I'm playing here on my laptop, which you can't see. You can see the very bottom of it. See there? I'll be driving the DeLorean. All
Very
right.
good.
Ooh.
So I'm going to go ahead and hit play. We'll just play online on a just standard 3v3 classic game. Oh, I actually have
Excellent.
Chaos also selected. Now it is no longer selected. Chaos is 4v4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna, yeah.
It's like you're driving a
I gotta
DeLorean.
move
I'm
into
delivering
this.
some Cuban
We
pizza.
both have to move a little more into the center, but
I'm
yeah.
delivering some
You got the Cuban
pizza.
flag. You're delivering. Do you have like a relationship with Cuba, or do you just like their flag?
No, I'm Cuban.
Okay, I did.
That's
I did
the
not know
relationship.
you were
Nice.
Cuban.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm definitely partial to Cuban pizza. It's the best kind of pizza.
What's the difference between Cuban pizza and non-Cuban pizza?
Cuban pizza is really dense, but not like in a Chicago deep dish kind of way.
Okay.
It's really bready and it has like a really thin layer on top.
Oh my god,
Okay.
I'm so hungry.
I know. It's like the worst.
Why?
But you can only get it in Miami, which is just so disappointing. I've never been anywhere else that actually has like decent Cuban pizza.
Well, now I just
I
want to
need
Google Cuban
recommendations.
pizza Chicago or Cuban pizza. Oh my gosh, it is really snowing
It is
hard.
so much
At
outside.
some point during the stream, I'll just take the camera and pull it out and point at
It
this, at the. Okay.
It's actually
You better
my
work.
First, it's the first time that
Oof.
I'm experiencing snow too.
Is that yellow?
Oh
mean,
really? Like
yeah,
ever?
Ever.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Congrats. Do you
Thanks.
feel like so amazed?
I feel like a little kid, you know, like
Yeah.
like amazed, like I don't know, like it's magical, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I know, it totally is.
yeah, it's beautiful.
It totally is. Like I lived in Minnesota for 2 years when I was doing my master's and it's still really magical.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh my god, it worked.
it worked.
So I'm going to Miami in January.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, and I know that I want to eat Cuban pizza.
Yes.
I need recommendations.
Ray's Pizza. It's the only good place like on
Oh my
earth.
God.
It's so good, and it's open 24 hours.
Oh, that's convenient.
it's like too convenient, honestly.
So, I mean, like, do you guys like play like solo? Like, I mean, I know that you are playing together, but what's the game plan? Like, you have a tactic or something?
We've never played together before this moment, so our tactic is to win.
Okay.
Currently, yeah.
It seems.
My usual thing is like if I start near
Oh,
the
shoot,
goal, then that's I'm on goalie until a goalie isn't necessary.
Oh shoot! All right, good, good.
So this is basically like you are on offense, and then you have to like run back to defend the goal.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I unlike traditional soccer, probably the biggest difference between Rocket League is you don't get fatigued.
Yeah, that's true.
Like so, and you can drive much faster and get around the pitch much quicker than a traditional
Yeah,
soccer
but like
player might.
in a traditional soccer, like you have like
Yeah,
roles
yeah,
for
that's
people,
what
you know,
that's what I'm getting at. So in traditional soccer, you have those roles because people get fatigued. So you need the defenders to be, you need people to take a break, right, from moving around and everything. And shoot, these guys are not as easy as the computer.
I know. What's up with that?
So you're the goalkeeper.
Oh.
Okay, tight butt crick.
Ooh. Yeah, that's something that I've experienced with Rocket League. Like the names for these people are just embarrassing. I don't know.
Oh,
is
yeah.
that the word?
They're also on Team Mom.
I have questions.
So, in order to play effective Rocket League, you really can't have like a position, generally speaking,
wow.
because a huge part of the core gameplay is rotations. It's like I go up to hit the ball and then I immediately drive back to defend,
Okay.
or something along those lines. Because like now that I just hit it, like I guess on my screen, I just don't have a good angle on the ball anymore, so I have to kind of get away from the ball.
Okay, so you can like defend like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
And so then, like right now, I'm going for like a kind of a pass. It didn't work out though.
Okay.
Towards the middle, like you want to try
it's
to
like
send.
Stranger Things, like.
Yeah.
They have a Halloween event going on.
Okay.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. See our teammate right there, by staying in the corner, is actually dooming us all. Oh,
Like the
they're gonna
goal is
score.
unprotected, so like.
Yeah. So you have to keep moving.
Okay.
If you stay still, you force all your teammates to stay still. Damn it.
Oh, I think our teammate just left?
That would be nice.
Yeah, I think they did. Goodbye.
We're playing against a squad of 3, so they're probably used to playing with each other more than us people who've never played together before.
So
True.
it's time based. So like you have like this amount of time, and
Mhm.
it's the same as soccer, right?
Yeah. Oh. And another problem, yeah. So there's like definitely a heavy emphasis in terms of team play of like taking turns in Rocket League, generally speaking, because that's like the only way you really ever get anything done. It's like it's his turn to hit the ball because you can't possess the ball, right? Like in normal
Right.
Yes.
soccer. All right, I'm gonna go for this. Oh, that guy went. All right, good. He went for it and didn't get it, so now nobody gets anything.
But like team coordination, like how does it like? You should like be talking to each other like about like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and or it's like more organic, like you don't actually need to be communicating at all times.
You don't really need to be communicating at all times. Typically, especially because there's too much going on to like be able to really tell somebody what to do, because you have to focus so much on what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you kind of just like it's like there's like you kind of have to understand the basics of the game, and like the idea of rotating, which is
Okay.
like it's like one of the most basic theoretical concepts. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Good job, Keoki. How do I nice shot? Oh, not up. Left? Nice shot. Yeah. There we go. So there's like you can see in the top left-hand corner of the screen, like we are chatting with each other with the using the D-pad.
Okay.
You can like make quick like things.
Okay, yeah, I see. So like for example, if you're like on the offense, like if you're trying to score a goal, you have to like trust the other players to be like defending your goal, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Nice
So there
defense.
is like an like implicit player trust that
Absolutely.
goes
Yeah,
on. That
absolutely.
it's not like verbal
like-
communication.
Yeah, so you can see like right now, I'm like kind of sitting in the middle of the pitch,
Yeah.
and then I was waiting to see what would happen, and if we won the encounter or the engagement and like the ball got centered into their goal, or like near their goal, I would go for the shot.
Yeah.
But if it didn't, ooh, that was really good.
Nice.
It's not gonna go in, unfortunately.
Oh.
It was moving too slow for they had too much time to.
Yeah, but maybe the other player could like try to score it. Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
So there, I just centered it. So then I just turn around and I go back to go get boost and stuff because I know that like I'm not gonna be the next person to hit this ball. Is that on?
Ooh!
Yes!
That's nice, man.
Yeah. So you see, like you can see in the replay, like I'm going back to defend. I see the ball's coming near me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have a chance, so I go for the hit,
Yeah.
and it ends up being just like a perfect
Beautiful.
like arc onto the goal.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And so here I'm the closest to the ball, so I'm gonna go for like hitting it, and then I'm just returning back to defense.
Okay.
It's like the classic rhythm of the game. So Janelle's like waiting in goal, but our teammate's kind of being a ball hog right now by going for it so aggressively, which leaves Janelle just not doing anything, which isn't her fault. It's
Nice, but now she can like.
well, we had 3
Yeah,
seconds.
and like it's so fast. Like you get from
It is
your
really
goal
fast,
to the other teams like super fast.
So at this point, when the clock reaches 0, the time will keep moving until the ball touches the ground.
Okay.
And then you'll go into overtime, or the game will be over. That way, if you like make one last desperation shot on the goal, ooh, darn it. Okay, so now I trust a teammate to go for that. An important part of the game as well is boost management.
Mm-hmm.
So boost is like what allows
Sorry.
you. Oh, it's okay. Thought that was the other. I just assume that you can't do anything wrong. So when something bad happens, when any teammate does anything wrong, I just assume it's the other person.
I mean, I love that. Like, I'll bank on that for a while.
So this yellow stuff on the floor is like.
It's boost, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yep.
the big circle ball, like spheres that you see floating in the air. Oh, if that had been on target. All right, let's try to get. Oh darn it! If I had like hit that right, that could have been a goal, but I didn't. So you can, if you run into somebody while full boosting, like going max speed, you'll just kill them.
Yep.
Nice.
But then they come back on just on their side of the pitch. But it can be. It's not a very viable strategy because you're not really. If you're boosting into the other team, you're really taking yourself out of the equation. So you
Right.
only make it a 2v2 in a sense.
Nice,
So,
good save.
Thank you. Ooh. Oh, I might have just doomed us.
Yeah, you like. You
I-
prepare the ball for the other.
Yeah,
for the-
I kind of tossed it to them. I mean, it was a good idea. It just like it
was,
didn't
yeah.
go anywhere. Right? It just kind of sat. It like went straight down after I hit it. GG. Oh wait, how do you GG? Is it down? Wait, no, you have to wait for the word winner to show up. Then you can go up. GG.
Just these names are just terrible.
You got some candy. Did I get any candy? No. Oh, I did get
Yeah, there you
candy. All right.
What the fuck is candy? Oh,
So
sorry.
we can play against these same people if we want. That was a close game, so I guess
Yeah, it was.
I wouldn't say no.
Okay. Let me ask
I'll
another
vote
question.
rematch.
Like,
Yeah.
do people usually associate this like it's pretty obvious that it's based on soccer, but like there is some symbolic relationship, like you know what I mean? Like people who play this like also play like FIFA, for example, like or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'd be really interested to find out.
It definitely plays a lot differently than like FIFA. Because for instance, in FIFA you control a whole team typically,
Yes.
whereas here you're just controlling your car. And obviously, like it kind of maps the basics of soccer: get ball into net, right? There's a timer, but like a lot of the mechanics of soccer, the important things, are absent from Rocket League.
Yeah.
So, for instance, like a big one, of course, is possession.
Yeah.
Like in soccer, of course, possession is a huge part of the game. And when you watch professional Rocket League broadcasts, they'll talk about possession. Like, all that means for them is that the ball is on a particular side of the court, right? So, like, when it's on our side, they have possession. Oh, darn.
Sorry, I thought it was going to go in net.
No, you did fine.
Okay, so the way to use possession as a metric is like different from soccer too.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, I think they only use possession as a metric in professional broadcasts as something to talk about.
Yeah, but it's interesting that they use possession
Yeah.
as something to talk about, like in the broadcast. Like.
I totally agree.
Like I'm coming at this as someone who has like. Soccer is huge in Brazil, so I'm used to like.
Oh shoot!
Nice.
That went off of my car. That was kind of unfortunate the way. Like it doesn't normally bounce that way. So you see, bam, right off of me, and then.
He just hit it way harder than I did.
Yeah, and our teammate was literally doing nothing there. You at least were trying. All right, I guess I'll go for this. Oh, did he say he got it? Okay.
He don't got it.
Well, he got it. He did his job, which was he didn't give them a free hit on the ball. Go ahead. So another consequence of there being no possession is like that you can see in the opening part of the game, there is no there's no like we start with the ball, right? It's just the ball starts in the middle and everyone starts in equidistant basically away from the thing. Well, not perfectly. Okay, thank you. So like I think it's fair to say that the other team has possession right now, right? They're controlling the ball and we're trying to clear. Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
One of their teammates is just bumping me around in the goal, which is it's a really annoying and obnoxious strategy, but it can lead to frustrated mistakes.
Yes.
So I really dislike that we're playing with a ball hawk. So generally speaking, a good rule of thumb is if you just hit the ball, don't chase the ball.
Okay.
Ball chasing is like the greatest sin of Rocket League, because what it does is if your teammates are competent, it forces them not to take good shots on the ball because you're sitting there taking 3 bad shots on the ball in a row, right? Let's see. Okay. Oh no, that's not. Yeah. Try again. Yeah, not good enough.
What makes a good shot? Like, it's the angle, the speed.
It's the speed for sure, because that gives your opponent like less time to react to it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And you build the speed using boost.
Yes, exactly. And obviously, the faster you're going when you hit the ball, the more direct your hit is.
Ooh. Okay.
Let's see. I'll go for this. Nice. Okay, so I just cleared it. Now we have a chance to get possession back. Now I ran out of boost on this, but I was able to get a good toss-up. Not a great pass, but I tried to center that ball so that only my teammates could get to it. And thus, what you really don't want is a shot that's really predictable. Oh no. Oh, that's not good at all. Oopsies. Oh gosh, I was killing our teammate.
No, you're good.
Oh, that was you. Who's this jackass in a DeLorean? Ooh. Okay, no, we're okay. The ball kind of just naturally. So, like, there's a constant. The ebb and flow of the gameplay has got to be, like, centering the ball like that to try to create a shot. And then, like this was a good center. Maybe.
But, like, someone has to take the shot, right?
Yeah, just like that. So, like, I centered it, and then we had a teammate rush up and then take advantage of the ball being centered, and thus there being more angles on the goal. Like, potential angles. It's just like how, like, a corner in soccer really is, or if I'm taking a shot from, like, way outside the edge, like, of the pitch, it's very unlikely, oh, shoot. It's very unlikely that shot will go in because the goalie has it's only going to come from one angle for the goalie, right? It can only hit a certain part of the goal in physical space. And so it's the same thing in Rocket League. You really want to try to center the ball so that there's like a lot of possible angles, which gives the defenders too much to worry about. Or they have to pick like which angle to. Oh my gosh, everyone missed. So this is probably our last chance, and they got the clear. So goodbye. All right, we're gonna find somebody else to play against.
Yes.
Not that these guys were super good. I just want to win. Give me more candy corn. I got 11. You got 10. All right. Do I want to rematch? I mean, that was kind of close, but it also wasn't high scoring, which is boring.
True.
There is some kind of like meta game to Rocket League. Like, is there like an ideal way to play?
I exited the main menu, but it didn't exit you.
Mm.
That's weird. I thought it would exit you. So is there like a meta game? That's the interesting thing in relation to every other esport, is that there really isn't a meta game in Rocket League. Which is surprising, but some things that influence the fact, like the lack of a meta game. One, in Rocket League, there are no balance patches. The game is basically stayed the exact same. It's like regular soccer, right? Soccer doesn't really change. Like Pele is playing pretty much by the same rule set that we play by today, right?
Yeah, like there are some small changes here and there, but nothing crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I think what Rocket League tries to do is just to emulate a traditional sport where the skill of the players is what matters the most, right? And the fact that there are so few players means that the meta doesn't develop as succinctly around like particular formations or strategies related to that, right? And more around the skills of the individual players. And also, because as I kind of noted, the very basic structure of the game is this constant rotation where like I center, I go back. You take a shot off my center, you go back. It's like if it was just us two, we would constantly be doing a dance of like never being in the same place at once, right? Okay. And so because that's the basic gist of the game, and that is by far the most effective strategy, there's not really a meta where you could imagine like Janelle being like, I'll play defense, you play offense. I have to work with Janelle. There's no way I can play offense by myself. There's no way Janelle can play defense by herself either. And so there is a meta game, I think, but that revolves, and I think like it revolves around the minutia of what's going on in that game in that moment. Yeah. Well, I've never heard like, for instance, a Rocket League team be described as like, oh, this team is, I guess like there's like levels of oops. Well, they get a score because our teammate's a moron. You can watch. Turn the camera towards our goal. He's supposed to. He was behind me, so he should stay up and defend. Yeah. He comes and just runs into me. Okay. So neither of us can do anything.
And you were like trusting him.
I was trusting him to defend. Okay. Oh, now he defends and runs into me again because I was behind him.
No, that one was me.
Oh, that was you. No, see, remember, if any teammate does anything wrong, it's not Janelle, it's the other person, even when it is.
So, like, okay, yeah. But, like, for example, in the highest level of play, like in tournaments and whatever, like, you know what to expect, like, when you go to a competitive match, like a high-stakes match, like, you know what to expect from the other team, like, because, like, it's different from soccer because in soccer you have like different team formations. Like you can have like more people on defense,
or you can have a game plan of trying to like limit a particular player. Like if Messi's on the other team, you might say, okay, well we're gonna make sure Messi doesn't score a goal. And we'll put two guys on him or something. Yeah, none of that can really happen in Rocket League because the gameplay is so fluid. Okay. You have to keep moving. You can't like dog a particular player. Yeah. So I will say like there's definitely like meters. Like it's more holistic in terms of like your approach to the game. So for instance, are you kidding me? Gosh darn it! Here I go up for the ball, and I just went. If I had stayed the course, I would have blocked that, but I didn't see that guy coming, so I went to try to pop it up and over the potential opposing team. I don't like describing the opposing team as enemies typically, but anyways.
weird because like it comes naturally in video games, right?
Yeah, because NPCs are always enemies, right?
Yes.
Like they're
Right.
Nazis or something. It's like, yes, Nazis are my enemy. Like I can agree with that. But my opponents in Rocket League, these guys are likely not Nazis.
Yeah, let's hope so.
I love that. Benefit of the doubt.
Likely. Not impossible.
Yes, there are probably Nazis who play this game. But is Kelk, whatever, Ion Stone, or hey, yes, good job,
Nice.
Tomato. Is Trash Based Horizon 553? I don't know, or his friend who's playing on the same PC. So, what was I talking about? We suddenly were talking about Nazis. I don't
No,
know.
like I
Damn it,
have
Goddard's Law, or whatever his name is, Godwin's Law, is that it?
I
Or
have
like
another
every
question.
conversation eventually is talking about Nazis, or eventually devolves into talking about Nazis. Anyways,
Let
What's
me
your
ask you another question. So, what makes a good Rocket League player like? What you need to?
oh yeah. So this is what I was going to talk about with meters. So for instance,
Yeah.
if I could know that, for instance, if I'm playing Fnatic or something, let's say, I don't know if Fnatic has a Rocket League team. Most Rocket League teams are not like your they're not actually housed in your basic esports organization. Oh, come on down. Darn it.
Ugh. Too much of a turn there.
They're actually like most Rocket League teams are actually just like their own. Like we're three guys we like playing together.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a unique in esports at this juncture, at least. That's how it used to be, right? But now it's like obviously with the proliferation of money into teams, like teams have names and like they're owned by someone other than the players.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because
Nice.
almost all the traditional esports organizations, like Team Liquid, is like run by Huck, right? Who is like a former StarCraft 2 pro. Oh, darn it. I hate it when you expect them to hit it and then like you prepare for it and then they miss, so then nobody hits it. Coming in.
Nice.
Too bad. Tomato, you
Oh,
son of
no.
a gun, you did a good job trying it. Okay. So, for instance, I might know that, anyways, I keep getting on tangents. I might know that Team Liquid, we'll say, plays really aggressive, right? So it's like, what playing aggressive in Rocket League, though, it means like you're taking more risks.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I know they might take more risks to try to get goals, and so I might adjust my play as a result, right? Let me get there. Darn it. So there I was trying to get there. That was such a good opportunity. Up.
Oh, this match is like super like come back and forth like.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're winning by 2. You got this.
No,
Tomato. Oh, Tomato.
Ooh.
I was like waiting for him to center the ball. So they're like you're trusting your teammates to be competent, and Janelle barely doesn't get it, but he was a great shot. Great
That
attempt.
was a crazy save.
So like now I'm definitely playing more aggressive because there's only a minute left and we're down 2. So like I need to take more chances where I'll be in a position to take a shot on the ball. Our team
Tomato,
is
Tomato,
just,
are you still here?
yeah, he wasn't here for a while. All right. Okay. Oh, darn it. That was my bad. I would kind
okay.
of So a good rule of thumb is you don't want to be where the ball's going to be. You want to be behind where the ball's going to be so that you can go at it. So you'll see me here. I was like sitting on the close corner, where if I'd been in the far corner, I have more opportunities to react, right? Because I move, because you can move backwards, but you can't move like left or right very easily.
All right, 3 goals, 30 seconds. We got this.
So for example,
It's possible.
they are winning by a.
They're winning by 3. This
Yeah,
is
they're
a
winning by
lot.
3, so they
No, they're
could
winning by
like
4.
just like
Big game.
they could like just lay back and focus on defense like
Yeah. They.
Yeah.
this happens on.
Yeah. So in this case, they might not even obviously good defense our good offense can be a good defense if you're forcing the other team to sit on their side of the pitch. But if you're ahead, you might like decide, okay, well I'm not going to go for that. Like there's a concept that's really common in Rocket League, which is called a 50-50. A 50-50 is where me and somebody else are going for the ball, and we're going to get there at about the same time. One of us is going to get the hit, and one of us isn't, right? And so like that was actually 50-50 right there. Keep it up. There's no way to win at that point because even if we score, the game
it's
ends.
still It's just a matter of how badly we lose.
Oh yeah, I want to return to one of your previous points, and we can get to the later points. I do not want to play against these people again. They're too good. It's kind of a lame though. Like you click ready, and the next match is like a minute, but that gives us a minute to talk.
There we go.
And actually, Eric can express his opinions. So like, for instance, a team might be more aggressive or less aggressive, but I don't know how much that is like a meta game, because a meta game implies that like there's a standard way that the game is played that you expect the game to be when you enter the arena, right? Mm-hmm. Typically, we imagine meta games more in the realm of something like, I guess 4 people voted on a rematch, but not us.
Okay.
So now we're rematching. Okay. And so there is a standard of like things you expect the other team to do, but it isn't like as strict as like in League of Legends or our games where like there are characters to play that you have to select before the match, like the MOBA style genre. Because there isn't anything like that, right? You can pick your car, and there actually are some slight differences between the car, but really there's nothing outside the game that happens before the game begins. And so that limits the amount of metagaming that can occur, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it really is moreover about the kind of ability of 3 people to play together and recognizing like who's good at what. So like for example, I'm not very good at switching back and forth or doing like the kind of basic mobility required for the game.
So
just putting that out there. But it's also a matter of like you have a certain advantage when you're in a room playing together.
That's true. If you're focusing on working together, which we're not.
It's like right now I'm focusing on getting this ball somewhere that is relatively close to a goal that isn't ours.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, it's a really interesting game on that front, because like then suddenly it's like the skill of the participants that really matters, and there's so much skill involved in playing a game of Rocket League. Mm-hmm. Like you have to be able to. There's like one skill that's definitely there is like instincts, and so instincts would be like your ability to kind of just tell like based on what the other team and how they're kind of formatted. There we go.
Nice.
So they were playing like trash, our opponents. Like, not that you did a
no,
good, you
I'm
got a
fine
good goal,
with
but
that.
look at how all 3 of them are,
I don't know what they were doing.
ball chasing. So that if all 3 are around the ball,
there's no
you
one
pop
defending.
it. There's no one defending, and there's
Yeah.
no one who can even hit the ball if it goes anywhere, right? They can only hit the ball if it stays where it is. So you generally want to stay away from the game.
You have to play around the action. Like, you don't have to be like...
Hot dog, Savage. Yeah. One sec. Nice shot.
You don't have to be like close to like the action of the game, like every single moment. You have to be like you need to be able to read the development of the game.
So that's kind of what I would call like instincts.
Okay.
It's like your ability to be in like kind of the right place prior to like the actual.
Like,
darn, that was a good pass, but there's just no one there to capitalize. Yeah. So like someone's ability to capitalize on that pass, that would have been like their instincts. And like instincts can partially only be kind of constructed through playing with the same people, because you got to learn what your teammates' tendencies are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the same thing with soccer. Like, it's very similar.
Ah, darn. That might be on goal. Good job getting that out. And so, knowing like what kind of pass Eric likes in this situation, that's like your instincts. But instincts can also just be like understanding, like for me right now, that like the ball's there, none of my teammates are there, so I'm gonna stay back and wait for them to hit it so I can react to their hitting it, rather than going for a ball that I'm gonna miss and then be out of position. Like, oh, that was a good shot.
That was a good shot.
That was fast and it was up. So like, but I probably maybe if I had seen him coming, he came from an odd angle for this particular shot.
He did. I didn't think it was gonna go in, honestly.
Oh yeah, we gotta get the chat up. Jesus, I'm so sorry, chat. Ryan's gonna have my head.
You say this every week.
As if, like, I know Ryan doesn't actually. I don't. Wait, okay, that's me. Ryan cares, but I mean, Ryan's not mad at me. I just say that Ryan's gonna be mad at me because I think it's funny to imagine Ryan being mad at me. All right, but anyways, if anyone is watching has questions, please ask. So, so like, there's instincts, but there's also definitely like your technical skill, we might say. Technical skill would be your ability to hit the ball when you go for it, right? And to place it where you want it to be. And so you can imagine that I've definitely played with players like this who have a high level of technical skill, like doing what I just did. That was pretty high level technical skill.
Ooh.
This is a pretty good shot.
Yeah, that was excellent.
Like being able to like place this shot on the goal, right, from that angle when the ball's flying that direction, that's all your mechanical skill, right? It's like I've made the decision to do something, now can I actually do it? He said defending. Oh wait, that's you.
That's me.
At least somebody said it. Alright, I'm behind you.
Okay.
So by telling her that well,
What happened?
that would
Base Horizon said no
Base
thanks.
Horizon was like, yeah, we won by 5 last game, but I can't handle losing by 2.
Whoa, why'd you do it?
We're fine with rematching when you thought you'd win.
Nice. That was amazing.
I love getting saves. I love playing like the teammate more than I like playing the like the front man. So
you're not messy on this scenario, like.
Right now I am because is that my hat trick? No, that's 2. I have two goals and 3 saves, so I'm having a pretty good game.
Yeah, this is very good.
So I am messy.
No, yeah, but like, you have to play like as the superstar of the team, like.
Yeah, but I'm like that in every game.
DPS.
Every competitive game, I like to support others. I like winning one, but also. Ooh. Oh wait! Oh my gosh, that guy didn't move.
No.
That's too bad. You can go for it. I'm behind you. So like by telling Janelle that I'm behind her.
Please.
I give
you
her.
mess up and put it in there.
Oh shoot! They're gonna score now because I came up for that. Oh no, they're not.
We should be good.
So like if they had made a relatively quick shot on goal, then they would have probably scored because no one was defending. But anyways, so there's like 3 pillars. I'm just making this up right now. I've never read this anywhere. But there's your instincts, there's your mechanical skill, and then there's your teamwork, right? Like your ability to work with the other people. So you can imagine a team that might even be low on one of those, being able to compensate by being good in the other ones. The title Drift King. I want a cool title. I'm millennial. Challenge complete millennial. I don't know what that means. Alright. At the end of that game, we were only playing against AI opponents. But that was at the very end. We were playing against real people when we won. So we'll go ahead and I'll just ready up. So it's like those are kind of like the 3 pillars: your mechanical skill, your instincts, and then your ability to teamwork. Right? Are we on the? Yeah, we are on the same pitch. Ooh, do you want to play a 1v1?
Oh sure.
So one of the interesting things about Rocket League, in relation to you have to leave, Nash. In relation to other esports and competitive games, is that Rocket League has many, many different modes of play based on a similar rule set. So there's 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s, and 4v4s. 3v3 being the popular competitive mode. There's also a basketball mode where instead of the net being like on the edge of the thing, the net is like a circle that you have to knock the ball up and into.
Ooh, that seems hard.
Yeah.
It is much more difficult. There's a hockey mode where the ball is replaced with a puck. So we're gonna play local. An exhibition game. We'll play 1v1. And
it's the same. The pitch is the same size for 1v1 or smaller.
Same
size.
It's
the same size.
Oh really?
Yeah. That doesn't change at all. Like the actual pitch size, it stays the same for all the modes.
One sec.
I see.
I would almost say, and this is new to me because I stopped playing Rocket League, I think, before this was really a thing. But part of one of those pillars, I think, is reaction time. Aside from just, like, actual game mechanics, like, in a game, the fact that when you're playing online, you can just, like, a player will swap in and out super quickly. The entire game style changes in that match because there's a new person playing. And that can happen just very quickly, like lightning strikes and there's a new player. So if someone bails on a match and then somebody else comes in, it's just very quick. And that can happen to you, too.
Is this common? Like, people are usually, like, coming and going from matches? Like,
I think so.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
really trying to figure out how to set up a lobby for us to play in right now. But anyways, keep talking.
Yeah. It is pretty common. I mean, we saw it a few times in that last match that we played. And I think that as people just get frustrated in a match, they'll just leave. And I don't know if there's any, like, penalty in place for that when you're playing online. I know that, like, Overwatch has a penalty for you if you, like, leave competitive matches early.
There we go.
Oh, there. Cool.
It's also, like, lack of sportsmanship.
Absolutely,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Which is something that's it's interesting, like how I never thought about this, like how people see sportsmanship in esports, like in competitive games in general.
Yeah, well, talk more about that.
You know, yeah, because like, for example, sometimes my follow-up question will be like, how toxic is like Rocket League community? You know what I mean?
It's actually a really good question.
Because like there is something about like traditional sports that's about like honor. It's not honor, but like that this idea of
It's a lot easier to
sportsmanship.
listen and talk when we're only doing 1v1s.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like this idea of like being able to play a fair game and be respectful to like what is this? You were writing the
This is writing it.
like being respectful
Yeah.
to the other player and also like you know what I mean, like this idea of like reverence in a way to the other player or to the other team and whatever.
I think that a big part of that.
I'll go for
Hello.
it.
I think that a big part of that is with when you play on a team, like on a traditional professional team. There's a certain expectation in place that you will, you know, play with sportsmanship. Whereas if you're playing just like online, then no one's keeping you in check.
And it's a lot easier to have sportsmanship when it's a human being embodied in front of you.
Yeah.
I think I'm not saying that in actual sports there's a lot of not sportsmanship too.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. But I think it's easier. This is one of the few situations where we should probably both go for the ball. Oh.
Noise.
I'm just slaughtering Janelle right now. 1v1s really exacerbate the wow, you can't even see out the window now.
I know.
They really exacerbate the problems of
Like skill gap.
not of skill gap. Yes, obviously it's very common, and this is really funny. So you're talking about sportsmanship, Daniel.
Sorry, I was
No. Go and show me the snow.
Yes, enjoy the snow.
No, because like it's super like, I mean, everything's covered in snow now. Oh my god.
Where are you? I haven't seen you in a while.
I was just wondering. Just
one of the
looking
interesting
around.
things in regards to sportsmanship in Rocket League is that I like how you just blocked it from going towards my side of the pitch. So I think Daniel, you'll find this really interesting. So Daniel, if I were to tell you that after a game of Rocket League, when a player loses in a team game, they might
Thanks.
they might do something like 1v1 me, bro. Who do you think that they would ask to
that.
1v1 them on average? Who do you think is the most common person to be asked?
To be asked?
Yeah, to be asked 1v1 me, like I'm better than you.
The loser, right?
Yeah, well the loser, yes, but more importantly, who do you think they're asking?
Like the MVP of the match?
Yeah, you'd think that they'd be talking to the enemy team. But in my experience, whenever anyone says 1v1 me, they're talking to their teammates. Like
really,
like
I'm so
yeah, like,
upset.
screw up the game. So
yeah,
I'm gonna...
you piece of trash. Like you're the reason we lost. Like,
really?
Yeah. 1v1 me so I can show you how bad you are. Like,
oh my god.
It's just so ridiculous.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, humanity sucks.
And we see it here most clearly in Rocket League. You're absolutely
I'm
right
so
though.
depressed right now. Like,
Just all
lost
your hope.
faith in humanity.
All your
Don't
hope is
jump
just
at the
gone.
ball. Just try to. Oh, you needed to boost though. All right. Oh.
That happens in Overwatch as well.
Ooh, nice. There you go. Pop it up over me.
Just how slowly can I hit it
But
and
like-
hope to get it in?
This thing, like this, like challenging another player for a 1v1, like
Mhm.
immediately after a match. This is something like designed for in the game. Like there is a like.
You can like party up with somebody or create a lobby to 1v1.
Oh, but the
Not very
game
many
is not
people-
like the game is the game itself's not like trying to make people do that. Like after the match is finished, you can look. The game is not like proposing this to you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, 1v1
The game
this
is not
guy.
saying, "Hey, you know what would be a good idea if you guys had more conflict."
No,
Ooh,
that-
I just popped that in for you.
That would be interesting as well. Like
I've
after
now
if,
scored 6 goals.
So good.
if after a match the game was like, oh, you can 1v1.
You can
Upset with the
1v1
performance of
losing.
your teammate? 1v1. This AI copy of them. Alright?
Oh, that'd be so dangerous. But it is just a weird phenomenon. Like, I've never seen rage, like game rage, manifest quite like it does in Rocket League.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even in like League of Legends or Dota?
I think it's because in League of Legends and Dota, mistakes stack. A single mistake doesn't lose you to the game.
Oh, okay.
So like, if you're, let's say I'm the top laner in League of Legends or Dota, okay, and the mid laner dies once. Okay, well we haven't lost because the mid laner died once, right? But let's say somebody doesn't rotate back to block the goal when they should have, and thus the other team gets a free shot on goal and they win, right? Suddenly it's like we lost because you made one mistake.
Oh, so you
And
can pinpoint like the moment you lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You can pinpoint the moment his heart breaks in two. But above this even, and I think that League of Legends and Dota and a lot of games have a slow meandering depression of loss. Where like, oh, the mid laner died. 3 minutes later, oh, the mid laner died again. It's like, even though it's his fault, it's like just like a slow, like, I guess we're losing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like just this slow, like, sadness that's just building up until you lose.
So
it's like
suddenly you accept death. It's
yeah,
not
you're like slowly accept what's happening to you. Oh. And 1v1 is really important to try. Oh, dude, that's on
that was
goal.
just-
I'm just gonna let you handle this.
Please.
Now that was bad sportsmanship.
That was beautiful.
uh,
Just watch it go.
goodbye.
This is like the desperate attempt.
I like that you see me come in and just be like. Oh, that's so funny.
But like, like, do you think that like this idea of like this toxicity is something that it's like in competitive games in like it's like the nature of competition? Like,
I don't think it's the nature of competition. What I think it is I think it's the nature of humans when they feel bad. To like, especially if they
like that.
have to work with other people, they don't want to. First of all, bad players do this a lot more than good players, I will say.
oh, okay.
But it is like, it's an attitude of, it's your fault that I lost, not my fault, right? Because I don't want to have to deal with the fact that I suck at this game, right? Like, so if I just make it out that you suck at this game,
Then I suck less.
yeah, or that I suck less, like then I can be like, well, I don't lose because it's my fault, right? I lose because you are bad.
Okay.
And so I think that like that's one of the problems. Oh shoot, get in there.
Please.
Epic save, nice. So it's only
So
a goal
ridiculous.
if the ball like fully enters the thing.
Yeah.
It's on goal if the ball uninhibited will make a goal. Then it's called an on goal shot. And it's called a save if the ball was uninhibited going to go. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I pulled a Janelle.
That was so good.
I hope that becomes a thing.
Pulling a Janelle.
Yeah.
Is scoring an own goal.
Scoring on your own goal.
I like how I run in like at full speed, like you're not gonna get it in. Oh, I'll punch it in.
I will.
I've now scored 10 goals.
That's beautiful.
No, 9, because you've scored one of the goals on yourself too.
That's so good.
Nice goal. Uh-oh. Come back.
Oh, could it be? It can't. It won't.
It could happen.
You spawn randomly on the.
Yeah, there's only like a handful
You
of
spawn
places.
randomly, but symmetrical to the other player, so that
Okay.
there isn't an unfair advantage. Because some of the spots are closer. It's not. I guess randomly isn't the right place. It's randomly in an assortment of spots that are predetermined. That if you've ever. Yes.
Did you guys you guys played like Counter-Strike 1.5 and 1.6, right?
No, I've only
I
played.
didn't
I have
know.
played a
Really?
little, but
Yeah.
I mostly played Geo.
Oh my god, like back in the day there was like this map called CS Pool, and it was like a symmetrical map, and like when you spawn, like you have like a 10 seconds like delay, so you can like
We'll go ahead and.
buy
Do you wanna do
weapons and
twos?
whatever.
Sure.
And like in this map in particular, like the map was so small that you could see like the spawn side of like the other team, so you could like buy a sniper rifle, equip it, and like do the,
Pop them up.
yeah, like
Yeah.
in the first second of like the map. So you have to like change the rule set of the map to reduce the spawn time delay. So you spawn and like you can like run away
Wow.
for your life. You know what I mean? I miss Counter-Strike so much.
So,
Those was the good
but yeah,
days.
I don't think what Janelle was trying to say, and I know for our audience I want to make this clear, I don't think you were trying to say that it's the most toxic game ever.
No,
or thing.
it is one of the most toxic games that I've ever played,
Mhm.
for sure.
I think what I was getting was more that like it has a very unique kind of toxicity.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, there's no. What I mean when I say there's nothing quite like it is very much that. Like,
Pass
I
to you,
don't know.
or just go in.
Oh, well, thank you for getting there first.
I didn't hit that second hit. They hit it
Yeah.
in the goal.
Look at him
That
go.
was
He's
my
so
pass to you.
he's so sure. He's like, well,
It wasn't on goal until he popped it. Let me help you there. Oh, you can go for it.
Okay.
I'll try to center this for you. Honestly, maybe I'll just go for the shot.
nice.
I would have centered it to you, but I noticed that the goal was empty. So that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's what would that's like situational adjustments, as
Yeah.
Sally Falkmore might describe it. Alright, this one's mine because I'm the closer one. All yours. I'm gonna go get boost and then head back.
Okay.
But like now, like what's different about like the toxicity in Rocket League compared to other games?
I think a big part of it is exactly what Eric was talking about, like that willingness to just wow.
Hat trick. I'm messy.
It's so good. That willingness to just fight your own team, you know, and
Feeling like there's like it's 1v6, right? Or 1v5,
Yeah,
like in a
1v5,
3v3
yeah.
game.
absolutely, like to a certain extent, you're competing against your own team for honestly like not very good reasons, but it does very much feel that way. I don't really know necessarily like what drives that aside from maybe like the one thing will screw up
Heading
your
back,
whole
you
game.
can go for it.
Okay, getting some boost.
A unique aspect, go for it.
Ooh.
All you.
Miss entirely. So good.
Do you want to try to center it? I'll
Sure.
wait in the middle. I mean, not gonna. Wasn't a bad attempt. Just
Was it
didn't
far
work
enough?
out. They were both there, so it just
Yeah.
you know.
They're coming
This
back.
is a 2v2.
Yep,
Yeah.
2v2. So now we're able to work better as a team.
Nice.
And by better as a team, I guess just means I score.
Just
four
scoring
goals.
constantly. Yeah, but
Um,
that 1v5 thing I think is absolutely true in a standard match.
Yeah. especially like when you're not playing with your friends. If you're just playing with like random strangers, like when I play when you're playing with your friends, like even if like let's say we were losing 4-0, like I would never be like like in a game with a random person I might say like God, this person sucks, I'm so mad. But if it's Janelle, my friend, I'm just like even if we're losing, at least we're having fun. You know what I mean? Like suddenly the metrics of success change.
Nice.
Yeah, but like but then you're detaching the
Okay.
game from like a esports
Yeah.
thing, you know what I mean? Because like it's not for fun, you know what I
Well,
mean?
it is for fun though, and that's the big problem. People forget what the main reason they play these kinds of games is.
Is it for fun though?
Yes,
I mean,
it is for fun.
I don't know.
Centric?
Yeah, centric for me.
I see where you're coming, but like
Nice.
there are
Teamwork.
I don't know if we can like if it's like I don't know if everyone that's playing every esports is doing just for fun. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess
Even
sometimes
when you look at any sub area of why someone plays an esport, other than if like they're just an evil person who wants to demolish others, which I guess.
Yeah, but like okay.
But if you're playing it what if you're playing it for competency? Like I want to be good at something, right?
Yeah, that's
like,
still
that's still because you
that's
want to
still
have
fun
fun,
in a way,
right?
yeah.
I'm playing it to, get that feeling of working with a team. That's still for fun, right? You're not doing.
Right.
No one's playing an esport because it's like this is work. I guess maybe the
like there
the pro players are, but I don't think the average player is coming home after work and being like,
nice.
God, 6 goals and you activated me. Like we played a 1v1 and now suddenly I just can't stop scoring. That was a good center though by you. How you didn't get in this dish?
No, I don't think that was me. I think that was them.
So I think
They're also
people.
very good.
You can go for it.
Okay.
I think people lose sight of like that's the reason why. Like when somebody picks up Rocket League for the first time, Janelle.
Oh wow! I
was so close.
I was so sure.
I'll try to center this for you. Nah, it wasn't a good center.
I see, like, I totally agree with you, Eric, but, like, I feel that playing a game, like,
I'm in goal,
competitively, like an esport or whatever.
Oh, nope, you got it. Alright, I'll center this for you.
Okay.
All yours.
No. Damn.
Oh, shoot. Darn it. You're gonna see me basically, like, fuck up. So, like, well, let's see, where am I here? Alright, so there I am, I'm there. I'm flying towards the ball. And then I just turn around. I thought it was gonna hit the corner, so I was like, I need to, like, reposition. I messed up. I goofed.
All yours.
So, okay, so you feel like people maybe don't always play these games for fun.
Yeah, like,
so continue with that
let
idea.
me clarify this. Like, I feel that sometimes the enjoyment of the act of play...
What are they doing?
It's not necessarily about fun as we are, like, usually conceive it. For example...
You want back?
Like, I have a friend in Brazil that, like, he's a game scholar. He's doing research on Magic.
Years.
Okay.
And, like... He has like his data, like
Yes.
he's doing like ethnographic work on Magic, like competitive Magic in Brazil, and like
Nice.
a lot of people there, they're not going to like to tournaments or whatever or events of any kind to have fun. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're there because they particularly want to like win the championship because of the prize money, because they want to be recognized as the best player like in that region or whatever, or the city or
But is
whatever.
that just a person defining what fun means to them? I got it.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
but that's that I feel that the idea of fun is usually like this thing of like, oh, it's chill, it's relaxed, you know what I mean? Like
I think that's like
I feel like you can have enjoyment in the act of play, but not necessarily like fun.
I think that's a limiting of what the word of... I think you're limiting the word fun to mean just play, like uninhibited, when I think that's like a... I don't know if that's how I would define what fun is.
Yeah,
Okay, sure.
I think I'm on the same page there, because like I see what you mean about, well, some people do this like for
Oh gosh.
different reasons that might not seem professional or might not seem like fun
I'm an
necessarily.
asshole.
That was amazing. But I think that just to take fun at like its face value, it's just a sense of enjoyment of some form, and that can manifest in a lot of different ways. Some
Okay.
people, for fun, they like to, I don't know, shred others, and that's like really enjoyable for them.
Yeah.
And if victory is what you define as fun, then I still see like the guy that goes to Magic tournaments just for the sake of winning. He's still having fun to some degree.
Yeah, I'm going to this point because like I remember a particular like a person on like his ethnographical work that said something like he has like this recorded on audio. It's amazing. Like the guy goes and says something like that. Oh, I'm not here at this tournament to make friends. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be your friend. Like back off. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I have a problem with the word fun. Okay, usually like when you think about fun, you think about like this idea of like chilling, you know, like, oh, I'm here with my friends, laughing and enjoying ourselves, and not necessarily like this like ruthless competition like attitude. You know what I mean?
Some people don't find making friends very fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So to me though, they're still not doing it, like, unless it's your job, and there are streamers and stuff who it's their job. But in order for a streamer to exist on Rocket League and enjoy it and use it as their means of entertainment, one, they must have found the game fun at some point because they picked it up without the auspices of making money off of it.
Right.
And two, okay, playing a game, trying to execute things technically difficult and talking. Okay, shit, I lost my idea. What's that? What was the last thing I said?
Streamers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So those
streamers
people,
wouldn't, like,
yes,
exist.
they only exist because other people find the game to be fun.
Yes.
I'm like not there at all.
Okay.
I'm back in the goal. Ooh, Doja jeez. Alright, I'm coming back.
Same.
I'm gonna go for this. I at least popped them up so they couldn't do anything, and then you
We'll
did
take
that.
it.
Excellent. So like, there must like right now, like when yesterday in the afternoon, I went ahead and I wanted, because as I noted at the beginning of the stream, the last time we tried to play Rocket League on stream, the game was telling me that I couldn't connect to the internet, even though I was connected to the internet, and it was really annoying. So I wanted to make sure that there wasn't like something wrong with the game. So I went on to the logon, and there's 100,000 people playing, that were playing in the middle of like an afternoon. Now I know that they're from like all around the world, and there's probably nighttime in Europe and stuff like that, right? So like I don't want to like overread into like the exact amount of players, but if there's 100,000 people playing, most of them are not doing it because they have like a monetary gain, right? They're doing it because like there's some modicum of enjoyment, right? They like they woke up, it was 1:30 in the afternoon or whatever, and they were like, you know what? I feel like ramming a car into a ball, you know?
No, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, I mean, like, the problem here is that we are debating the meaning of fun, you know? Like, I feel that enjoyment is a better, like, way of describing it than fun, for me, you know? Like, because I usually associate the word fun with, like, funny, like, without, like...
Like with childlike imagination and things of that nature.
Yes, but that's maybe, like...
Okay, so we'll replace it with enjoyment. People play these games for enjoyment. And anyway, so back to our toxicity. So people forget that they're playing the game for enjoyment.
Yes.
They like because they confuse enjoyment with winning, right? With success. When success is whatever you deem it to be. So like for instance, when I get better at a game like this, it's not when I deem success as winning. It's when I just deem success as like this game. I'm gonna go like. I'm like fly my car, like really fly my car, and try to like get it up. Darn,
my
nice.
bad.
That's okay. It was a good play. Good play by Stinky over there.
Yeah.
And so like let's say like I decide like oh, here's a good one. Like for a long time I couldn't drive up the wall and hit the ball when it was like going up the wall because if you can hit the ball right when it hits the I'll go for this. If you can hit the ball right when it hits the wall, it's got so much velocity that you can do a lot of really cool stuff with it. For a long time, I was just too afraid to do that because I was mostly concerned with like winning.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I didn't call that. I was too concerned with winning, and I knew that I wasn't good at that particular skill, right? And so like if I do that, I'm actually putting my team at a disadvantage because I'm bad at that skill. But the only way I can get better and actually use that skill is if I try, right? And I fail a couple times, then I can do something like this. I used
That's
to never
awesome.
be able to do that,
Man, they're
right?
so cocky.
And so no. I did. I was really worried I would miss it. I waited until I waited
you
until
were
I knew.
building the point to the exact moment when you know that you will be able to hit the
You're right.
thing.
I knew that the ball would be there. Like you never know where the ball's going to be in 5 seconds in this game, Pedro. It's not Pedro. Sorry. I have a friend named Pedro who, and sometimes he reminds me of you a little bit
Oh,
because
really?
he's like kind of chill, but he's really smart too. And so no.
Oh, that was
And there's also
wild.
an awesome indie game called My Friend Pedro.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Yes.
that is a pretty fun game. Okay. Anyways,
Nice.
to finish my thought. So, and so so it's funny because the only way to improve is to like redefine fun and success as being that new thing,
Nice.
right? As being like fun and success is when I I'm able to I climb the wall and I go for it. Even if I miss, I'm still having fun, and then you get better at the game as a result. Fun. You can go for this.
Okay.
Fun could be our enjoyment. Could be like, oh, I'm gonna sit down in the Street Fighter practice room and practice this combo until I can get it perfect, right?
Mhm.
I'm not even playing against
Yeah.
real people, but now I can do
Nice.
like for me, we're gonna play Street Fighter next week because this is the thing that
Practical
that
mastery.
Daniel this is the thing Daniel doesn't know. That this is the reason why we're playing Rocket League today, and the reason why we're playing Street Fighter next week
Really?
is
Yes.
that the Olympics are going to be on this year or next year in 2020.
Center.
In Tokyo.
Oh my god.
No problem.
Nope.
Yes, and so before the games, Intel is sponsoring like an Olympic-esque tournament of Rocket League and Street Fighter.
Oh, nice.
And so it's not part of the Olympics, but it is like an interesting thing. They did it for StarCraft before the Korean Winter Olympics in 2018, and they're going to do it again for the 2021s because they signed a 6-year contract with the Olympics. It's like in sponsorship, it's co-sponsored with the Olympics. And so we're interested in these two games that they chose, and why are they considered more or less Olympic sports? But anyways,
Next week I'm gonna play Street Fighter.
yes, that would be fantastic. Good job, Fish and Ice Stink.
It's Street Fighter 5.
Both things that don't smell good.
I see a theme.
Sorry, what's that?
It's Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, Street Fighter 5,
Okay.
which is
It's
interesting
much
because that
easier
game is
than
made
four.
by a Japanese publisher, right?
Hmm.
So StarCraft in Korea makes sense because StarCraft is very historically present as the first real esport, right? And
Right.
at least for on a national level, that country loved StarCraft 1 for a long time. And then so going to Japan, it's Street Fighter makes sense, Japanese company, Japanese publisher, and then Rocket League, it doesn't make any sense actually because it doesn't have any connection to Japan. But it is the most sporty of the esports, right?
Yeah.
Even I would say this is kind of something that kind of gets interesting. You can go for this.
Okay.
Would we say, and this is a question that I had kind of pre-show today.
Then I have a follow-up question, just to
Okay,
to make
do
sure
your
that-
follow-up, and then
Okay.
I'll
No,
ask my question.
It's just about this thing of enjoy. I was
Yeah.
when we were describing this idea of having
Wanna
to
go for
be less afraid of trying something risky, like going to the wall and doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about my experience with From Software games, like Dark Souls,
Nice.
Bloodborne, Sekiro,
Mm-hmm.
and
Here's
right after I
Nope.
sorry okay I'm the game is compiling. I lost my train of thought. Okay, I was playing
Nice.
Sekiro
ooh, this is actually an opportunity. Darn it! I'll send this for
before
you.
coming here to
I love Sekiro. You know I wrote a
US.
paper on it, right?
what?
You know I wrote a paper on it, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Please,
Not yet published,
can I read it?
but we'll be positive and say not yet. I think I might have disconnected. Yes, because I didn't on my screen. I was hitting the ball and then
Oh,
it just
no.
went to them scoring. Continue.
Yeah,
You're
so
playing Sekiro.
Yeah, I was playing Sekiro before coming. I had this goal that I
You go
had
for
to
it.
finish the game before coming here because otherwise I wouldn't be able to play here because I don't have my PS4 here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my first From Software game, and
Centered? Sorry.
there
you're
is
fine.
something about those games that redefines enjoyment in a super weird way because you have to
Here's-
fight the
I'll go
same
for
boss
defense.
for 8 hours to be able to beat the
I'll center.
boss because you have to be able to master the performance of the boss, understand like all the abilities in your
We
skill
only got that
set,
because they were.
and you have to
down.
get like super good at the game to be able to like to achieve that kind of like thing. And
Yeah.
at some point, like you're dying over and over and over and over, and like it's weird. Like how is this enjoyable? Like it was enjoyable. I love the
Yeah.
game. Like. And also, like the last boss, like when he kills you, he goes and like he says like hesitation is defeat, which is amazing because like it's the spirit of the game. Like you shouldn't hesitate. You have to like to
Cheers.
go for
Oh
it.
shoot! Oh, wait, my bad entirely.
No, you're
So I was thinking about like how complex enjoyment is because like at some point you're doing like for the sake of like just achieving mastery to be able to like to beat the boss. You know what I mean? So it's not like you have
Going back.
learning curve, like a flow state that is always there. Like sometimes, like for the
I
there
got
are
it.
some bosses in the game that for the
Oh,
first
darn
maybe
it.
like 2 hours
Maybe you can get a punch on it.
you are just being completely like humiliated by the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the game cleans the floor with your face. And like you keep playing,
Yeah.
like
Yours.
anyway, you know, like how does enjoyment like factor into this?
I don't know. I mean, I think that it's very similar to, say, like an Overwatch where there's like a really high school character and there's a certain like desire to master a certain skill or a certain ability with that. And it's just the enjoyment of mastery, of being able to do something that is like acknowledged to be really difficult.
Oh, darn, nice try.
And like the question I think of enjoyment is really interesting because I think of something that is totally different.
Ooh, my bad.
But like Stardew Valley, if you've ever played that,
Yes.
right? Stardew Valley is like my favorite game on earth. It's my favorite thing to do. If I can choose to do something, it'll be that. And the enjoyment that I get from that is completely different than the enjoyment that I get out of most other games, because the objective or lack of is, you know, completely different.
Nice try.
But it's still
Here's-
enjoyment and a form of mastery. I think that's very different, but still interesting.
Mine. Ah, darn it. Yours.
Bad hit.
Going all the way back. Got it. Oh, jeez. I saw you there, and then I boarded.
Now there we go. Ooh.
Oh well. Whoop.
But
Oh,
yeah.
I wanted to put whoops, but okay. Anyways.
Oh, Dave is here. Hello.
Hey, Dave. Dave, are you on campus? Just curious, because I might want to ride. Anyways.
Oh. Oops.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
That's
okay.
okay. Anyways. Oh, frick. My bad. I was like thinking about all these other things.
I know. I was like,
Really. Yeah. So I think that for instance, in that case, I think there's like an enjoyment in something that is challenging, right? What does he say? Fuck snow. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But snow is so beautiful.
I will probably enjoy walking through the snow home. So don't take it as a bad thing. Anyways, so I think that like something that is challenging, like yes, like I understand that Sekiro and Dark Souls games for most people are challenging.
oh.
Ooh, so for you it isn't.
No, because it's a matter of experience. I've got like 150 hours in Dark Souls 1. So like for me,
Oh Lord.
yeah, good, nice
Finally.
shot. So for me, the Dark Souls games are less challenging, not because I'm so good, but because I spent so much time getting good at them.
You understand that game in particular, like that style of gameplay.
Exactly.
Like that
exactly.
gameplay. That
And that,
feedback
I
loop.
recommend you read the blog post I actually posted last night, because I definitely wasn't supposed to post it last week and totally forgot until last night. But it's about transferable concepts and collapsing possibilities in
I
games.
read that. It was very
nice.
You read it?
good. I did.
Thanks.
Yeah, I read it last night.
Yeah. And so the general idea was, by the way, we're making the comeback.
Yeah, I see that. Just casually in this conversation about like Dark Souls and Stardew Valley.
So
Eric has got good.
you should have seen the game. I scored like 7 points.
That
not
was amazing.
hanging it on Janelle, but it was
No, but
a 2v2.
it was very good.
And so like a lot of games though, like you can transfer the skills you've gained from those games into a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice
absolutely.
job, I think.
Even though like I saw a lot of people saying that it's harder when you compare like Dark Souls to Sekiro because like they play so differently. Like it's the same like feedback loop, but they're also like.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's more like a twist in the formula rather than to me like a completely new experience, right? And so it's like even like in this game, like there are different maps, like not just the basketball one. Actually, that's probably a good example. Yes, basketball Rocket League is different, but guess what? If you're good at soccer Rocket League, you're probably gonna be pretty okay at basketball Rocket League, right? Because you already understand the fundamentals. And so, but anyway, so to your point, I think we want a challenge. It's one of the reasons we play games. Games are different than, generally speaking, film. Now, if you watch a David Lynch film, it might be challenging for other reasons, right? You might be struggling to understand what's going on. And so, like, I don't want to say that, like, other medium don't have this aspect of challenging. But in the most direct way, we can see challenge as a concept in games that has always been there, right? Like Pac-Man and Pong are challenging games. I would love to hear what Dave has to say after this point. And so, I think as humans, we want to feel challenged, and one of the best things that I can say about video games is that they give us the opportunity to feel challenged in something with no stakes, right? That's the same thing for sports before games, right? Is this opportunity to feel like you're making consequential decisions, but without consequential outcomes, right? I know my family is not going to get fed, or is not going to not get fed if I fuck up in Rocket League, right? Like, they're going to be okay. And so
okay. Sure, like go ahead. I have something to add to this.
Yeah.
Same.
And so I think we have like an innate human desire to do well in things, to like want to be a good hunter, or to, you know, for whatever you want to describe it. There's like an evolutionary thing there as like just a biological thing of just wanting to succeed and have success and feel that dopamine rush of like, I did something good. And games give us that opportunity. But go ahead.
Yeah, I feel you. Like, I want to like complicate the points about like the stakes. For example, like not just for professional players. Like professional players are just like the most obvious example, but like think about like World of Warcraft players. Like they're in a raid or something, or like or they have like invested like 500 hours to that game, and they have like social ties, and they have like relationships there, and that like
would it be better for me if I said that there were no physical stakes? Would that be a better way to put it? Because like what I'm describing is like you're getting the feeling of like
die.
Yeah. Like you're getting the feeling of like being in war,
yeah.
right? Like a lot of people are like who are like in the military can be addicted to combat. Like I know there's PTSD. I'm not saying everyone is, but I'm saying like there's some people who love that success of like we won the fight or whatever, right? It's part of the reason why there's like pub brawls, right? People like fight each other at the bars. And nice shot though.
Is this a thing? Like
people
pub brawls?
Yeah, but like. Yeah. Like I'm talking about like in ancient times and stuff, right? Like
it was
like a tribal mentality.
I'm
talking about like your tribal mentality and stuff of that nature. And so what I'm describing is like you can do something that requires like competency and requires you to do well and to do better than somebody else, but you are not going to personally there's no consequences for your life really. And you know, besides like even in World of Warcraft, there aren't extreme circumstances where you won't eat as a result of fucking up this raid or something.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
It's coming at you.
Yep.
I don't know. I have this feeling that like as games get more like intertwined with like daily life, with like
you can go for it
social relationships, with like how we produce social life in general, that like stakes get higher. You know what I mean? Like.
Here's.
No boost though.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I agree that the stakes do get higher, and I'm not saying that what I'm saying is foolproof. Rather, actually, when I said what I said, I was more saying one of the nicest things I can say about games is this: that it's not true in all cases.
Yeah,
But
sure.
the idea of like something being lacking stakes and still like requiring you to do your best is like one of my favorite things about one of my personal favorite things
Yeah.
about games.
You know, you
Yours.
also like. Oh, Janelle, you wanted to add something, right?
Yeah, it was just the comment about professional players, right? Because I think that there is a certain extent where, as gaming continues to professionalize and honestly diversify too, because we have a lot of different kinds of games that are entering esports and competitive formats, or even live streaming, right? It's like you're not necessarily an esports player like on a team in a league, but your family and your livelihood does still depend on your ability to win or be good in a certain way, right? Like you generate followers and you generate income in that way. So I think that is getting progressively more complicated, even though at its core, gaming is still relatively low stakes.
Daniel, would you read what Dave has to say? Because he's been writing. He wrote a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he did.
Dave writes that MOBA skill expression works the same way. It can be that experience with one game crosses over, but you also can temporarily confuse yourself when things work different. And play, and he continues, and play in general as an expression of performative action.
Right.
The time and social currency involved in group play. That was that last thing was like what I was talking about. Like there is like. You said yourself like you have like what 100 and something hours in Dark Souls, you know what I mean? Like there is something at stake there for you. Like you become like involved like socially, like culturally with those games as like art forms. You know what I mean? So
you can't expect them to just all mess up, right?
Right. Yeah. So like time investment.
yes.
Yeah.
And there's also like
Is that a save to goal?
It is.
Yes. Okay, continue.
there's also
See, obviously I have an investment, right? I went yes, like
Yeah.
excited, right?
Yeah.
Or no, I lost.
Yeah.
And there's also like in gaming you can also think about like game experiences and play activities that are not like
Yours.
directly involved in like challenges or competitive or a competitive way in any way. Like for example, I don't know. Let me think about like.
Oh no! I backed up too far.
It's okay.
That's so disappointing.
I'm blanking. The
David,
name of the
another
game.
blank thing, an expression of hierarchical engagement. So I agree with Daniel that there are stakes increasing moment to moment on the internet, and multiplayer games become more important. Yours, the social importance of John the capital of.
Let me read it.
Listen, it's 2-1. We got 30 seconds. We have to stop them from scoring.
And the social importance
Might you
of
say the
games
stakes are high?
and the capital in the hobby increases even further. Yeah, Dave, I totally agree with you. Like, that's the thing. Like, it seems that games become such a big deal, like in contemporary culture, that like stakes get higher. Like, and capital plays a part of this at this as well. Ooh.
There we go. Clutch clear to end the game, most likely. But let's. Oh shoot. Okay. You actually kept it airborne
Like, just
longer.
honestly.
We won.
I call that success.
Yeah.
Ha ha. I can read that one while we're playing. And so.
Oh no, another thing.
Okay.
Also, think about the social implications of games we play, companies support.
What happens as a result? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there definitely are. What I was more referring to when I said the stakes thing is not that there aren't stakes in games, but rather that when we play games, like a part of the appeal is the lack of stakes. We can rematch these people if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah, like the lack of
My vote rematch thing isn't working, so.
But like when it comes to a simulation, like you can like play a war game, like a super like aggressive game, like whatever,
So-
to have like that experience without like having to put yourself in harm. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like that. Like just like the idea of like being able to engage your competitive sensibility, go for it.
nice.
Teamwork. Oh, that's all you, because I messed up. Good job.
Oh.
Alright, I need to get boost. I'm in the goal though, so
Okay.
if you want to chase for a sec. Oh no, I guess I'm going for it. Oh shoot.
Let me see.
If they score, it was
Oh,
completely
okay.
my fault. So my goal is to say just in general that this is a thing about games
Yeah.
that not necessarily is true.
Oh, Dave
in all
says
senses.
it can stimulate the thrill of hunting, fighting, killing in a
Oh,
primal
wow.
sense
Just
without needing
Yeah.
to risk our actual life.
just bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that maybe like the simulation of
Oh
stakes
my god.
Mhm.
then is really kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah. More so than like the actual total removal, because obviously,
Right.
as we noted, like even in the last game, them scoring in the with 30 seconds to. Oh. You went back. Them scoring right, and obviously there are stakes because we're not just playing willy nilly, right? We still want to win.
Right. Nice.
We're still trying to do our best, but that's the point, right? That we can try our best, but not have to worry about working in the factory, did I make enough
Yeah.
pairs of jeans today?
Absolutely.
Oh.
So it's not a total removal; it's a transformation of primal stakes to social ones.
Yes, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Nice.
And so we're allowed to make our own stakes, so to speak.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why, as well, like the toxicity sometimes gets super high. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
like
someone places their value
yes,
in
Coming
their
back?
ability to win. Oh shoot, I'm so out of position.
No, we should be good.
and like when you challenge
Nice.
like a teammate to a 1v1, you're trying to
Center.
like to regain your like
Damn
face value, your like
Exactly.
your
Yeah.
symbolic capital, your power.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what is at stake. You know what I mean? Like your honor, your
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for your cross.
There you go.
Coming in. Oh, that was a great exchange, though. So to me, like, to tell if you're really enjoying the game for itself, or if you just are really just enjoying the stakes that you are setting upon yourself, like that was a really good example where like they made a great save, and I was like, wow, that was amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
Setting
going
it
for
up
this,
for
and so are
you?
you. Then we both
we
bailed.
both bailed. Too polite.
And then they got a goal because of it. But that's not either of our faults. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Anyways,
I'm
so
super hungry.
one of the things I wanted to ask about. So like I'm going to change the topic a little bit. I love this
Go for it.
conversation of enjoyment, of toxicity and everything, but it's yours.
Okay.
I am interested in another idea, which is this. So Rocket League is going to be in the Olympics, or is at least going to be sponsored by Intel, a pre-Olympics thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, do we view Rocket League as being more traditionally sporty as a game than something like FIFA or Madden? Or a hockey game?
No, I really don't.
You don't?
I don't.
I find that interesting. Why?
First, I have like reservations about something being traditionally sporty because I want to know more about what exactly you mean by that.
I would love to continue explaining after I make the save!
Oh, that was a sweet save.
I'm going to center this for you. Okay, so by traditionally sporty, what I mean... I love how, like, you can, like...
Good lord.
There's a natural flow for conversations. Like, I'm doing something technically demanding, and then it's like, now I'm returning back just to get boost, so I can talk now. I've centered this for you.
Okay.
Oh, I hit it well, and then I bounced it off my own car, so it didn't actually get centered. Alright.
Heading
Coming
back.
goal. I'm
Okay.
gonna go for this. He's gonna get there first. Yeah, that's all
okay,
you.
I'm here.
Good job.
Thank you.
So what I mean by traditional sporty is I mean emulating the experience of playing a traditional sport.
Okay, so it's the emulation of the experience, not so
Yeah.
much like the remediation. Of the
not the
sport.
remediation of like this is not soccer, right? Like this
right,
is a lot different.
exactly. This is very different.
Nice,
Oh,
beautiful. Now let's go get a goal. All right. Whoop.
ooh. Oh
Yes!
wow!
Yes,
That's
No, so
amazing.
that's something
That
that I
was
spent so
awesome.
much time practicing. So to actually get to like jump off the wall and like hit it there, that felt really good.
Yeah, that,
Yeah,
like,
Dave, I agree with you. So Dave says Rocket League engages with the affect of a sport like football in a way that I don't think FIFA and Madden do, which
Here's
aims to be more
your
directly
ball.
simulation of the sport and the league themselves.
Yeah,
I agree.
But why is that? That's a good question. Like, how Rocket League achieved this? You know,
So,
like,
Centering for
even
you?
though like they remediate a lot of stuff from like traditional sports broadcasts, like the replay, you have like an audience there in the stadium, like cheering and like chanting. You know, like
Yeah. I think that is part of like the affective element of it, whereas something like FIFA.
Oh no.
Oh.
You got it?
maybe like
No.
this,
Nice try,
like
nice
these
try.
explosions, like this exaggeration of like.
The exaggeration
Yeah.
helps, yeah. I think it's because it is a standard set of rules on a pitch that translates. If I hand you the controller, A, it's the same, but B, there's no RPG elements whatsoever. And in real life sports, we can argue if there's RPG elements, like, does Messi have a higher speed, right? Like, we actually often try to RPG ep, like, real sports, right? But the thing is for the people playing the sports, they aren't actually experiencing that. That's more for the people who are evaluating the sports, right? And so
Right.
when you're playing, like, if I play the Detroit Lions in Madden, right? I'm like, well, you know, Stafford has a certain set of statistics, right? Stats. So instead, it's like I'm more emulating the actual experience of the Detroit Lions playing the game rather than the experience of playing football,
Okay.
right? And so, whereas here,
Nice.
Wow.
oh, they get the goal anyways. It's okay. That was
That was really
impressive
good.
on all fronts. Like this is a good save.
And you can get to more
Oh,
ridiculous
very good.
situations like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, like your car.
It's more like dramatic.
Absolutely, but I think it does take the same kind of affective elements. But then you look at something like Madden or FIFA, or even like I think of MLB The Show, stuff like that.
MLB The Show baseball game.
Yeah, baseball.
Oh, okay.
So you have like an element, which they do have here a little bit, where you can manage a team, and that's the experience that you're simulating. So there's like game, but then the experience of a manager.
Oh yeah.
Simulating like an entire season. And Rocket League does have a mode like that. It's called, what is it, exhibition or season or something?
There you can play seasons, but it doesn't. Your car doesn't like get better over the season. You
Exactly.
don't tune it or anything. It's
Exactly.
just like play 8 games against the computer, see what your record is at the
Yeah,
end.
it's-
Go to the championship. Like, it's
And, like, what's
but
the
there's
purpose of
there's
that,
no.
you know?
Okay,
What's
I'm
the-
just all right. I will out myself as a super nerd. So I lived in China for 2 years, right? And when I lived in China, that was when I got into Rocket League. I bought it. And I could not play online because the game is banned there, or at least like I couldn't access the U.S. servers.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't access U.S. servers, but even if I could, the lag was atrocious, right?
Oh, sure.
And
yeah.
so I only played Rocket League for like my first like probably year of playing this game was exclusively with the computer, and I actually did play quite a bit. And I would just tell narratives in my head while playing the season mode of like, oh, will the team, nice try. Will the team be able to come back, and win the game, or like, oh, is making up fake narratives of like I'm the MVP like candidate or whatever, right? And so like that was fun, right? Remediating the sports experience, but only in
Like,
my
for
head.
yourself,
Like it's
yeah.
play at that point, right? Because it doesn't exist in the game. But that's something that like I used to do all the time. Like that was just like if I was having a bad day. And here's the thing: I was way better than the computers. So like I would we just have perfect seasons like all the time, and like but that was fun. It was like that feeling of like life sucks sometimes, but no.
Nice.
And also, like, maybe even the perspective, like, this, for example, as you play, I don't know the other game, but in FIFA, you have, like,
For you?
the top-down perspective, like, that simulates the actual broadcast of, like, the game.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Here you have, like, a more, like, close-up perspective of the car and
Yeah.
the ball, you know what I mean? So
It's
you
more
feel
first person.
Yeah, you feel more
Centering.
connected
Alright.
with, like, the actual
That's
action of the game than in
Playing
FIFA.
defense.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Nice.
Go for it. Actually, no, I'm gonna go for it.
Okay.
If that doesn't go in, you
That
can
should
have
be
it.
good.
Okay. No, I agree because you're only controlling one thing, right? So again,
Right.
if we're looking at the experience of playing soccer versus the experience of playing FIFA, in FIFA I'm controlling an entire team,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and so I have to like constantly be switching between, and that's like a remediation of the experience of watching the broadcast more than it is a
Yours.
remediation of the experience.
Yeah, of playing soccer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in Madden where you're constantly switching to whoever has the ball, or
Exactly, yeah.
or on defense where you're switching to whoever's kind of closest to yours.
Yep.
even though you can play FIFA, like
high.
multiplayer FIFA, like
I'm gonna go for it. Just go back on D. Oh,
Okay.
they got it.
I'm back on D. Dave says simulation of broadcast rather than simulation of play.
yes.
Nice. Thank you, Richard Grusin, for all the headway
Yeah, right.
that you made on this particular topic for
And
us.
Bolter as well.
Yours.
Yeah.
Yes, Grusin and Bolton. We just happen to know. We know Grusin. We don't know. Oh, that's all me. I was a little late. Otherwise,
it's okay.
Okay, they're gonna have a
Head
good
back.
shot on goal. So try to just disrupt it.
Got it.
Thank you. And I'll go get it out of the center. Oh shoot.
No, it's okay.
Oh, I boomed that guy. I love that it like literally says the word boom
Yeah.
above their head when
Very
you.
cartoony.
Oh. Heading back.
All right. I'm gonna try to center this. I said I'm gonna go for it.
Nice.
Those are the kind of skills you get when you only play against the computer for a year because you don't rely on them to get the goal. So you're like, "Okay, I'll shadow the ball and I'll
That's
knock it
okay.
in from the side." Anyways, yeah. So like to me, this is more sporty. Like that's the kind of like from my perspective, this remediates
Yeah.
what it feels like to actually play soccer more. Even though I'm in a car and all this stuff, right?
Yeah,
Right.
but I wonder, like,
Oop.
I've never watched like competitive
Sorry, I kind of
Rocket
just
No, you're
League,
good.
like
stole
a,
that from
You're
you.
fine.
a tournament and whatever. But like
Mm-hmm.
when they're broadcasting like a tournament, like how do you expect? Like you see like the whole field at once?
It is
Like
140. Let's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
after
use-
this game, let's switch to watching some competitive
Cool.
Rocket League. But go ahead, continue.
because like I'm watching you guys play here through your like
Mm-hmm.
first person perspective. You know what I mean? But like because like I'm here with you guys.
Yeah, what you just touched on is the classical problem of esports, which we'll have to eventually, which we've talked about a couple times with Kelly, during the Kelly days, but I don't know if we've talked about it in the
Kelly
Janelle and
days.
Daniel days yet. and that is that esports have a really hard time broadcasting things because it's not set in physical space.
Yeah.
There's like you can't set up like how the heck do you manage everything that is going on
Yeah.
and be able to like it's like here for instance you can't just have a camera zoom out and show the action for a lot of reasons. One, it doesn't remediate the perspective of people who have actually played this game because the people who have actually played this game in the past they know what's going on if they're looking at my screen, right? Whereas in traditional sports, if I just hook up like like a GoPro to Messi, nobody has any clue what's going on, right? Because they don't have that experience of playing the game through Messi's eyes,
Yeah.
and so that's like the classic 101 problem of esports broadcast is all you.
But
I'm
like
behind you.
some companies have done
Mhm.
like Blizzard does a good job with Overwatch, I
I
guess. like,
totally disagree.
Really?
Yeah, I think they do such a trash tier job. I never know what's going on when I'm watching, and I don't blame them. I blame Overwatch for it. I don't blame the broadcasters.
I think it's really hard to accurately capture something like that because there's just a lot
There's-
going on, and I think that there's also like a commodity element there because of the command center, which is trash.
Mhm.
But that's a whole other conversation.
I wrote about the command center for my paper for Grusin.
Oh, did you?
Rats! All right, we're still up by one.
Yeah, we're still
Let's
up.
try not to
Overwatch
choke
broadcast
this
is
away.
garbage.
All right, let's try. I want to tell them nice shot. There we go.
So what's about the command center?
So the command center is a season. Well, it's part of a season package. I'll tell you. It's part of a season package, and it's like I think $15 a season, and it grants you what is supposed to be
Behind
like. It's supposed to be like a
keep with it.
unique broadcasting experience
I
where
got it.
you can kind of control.
Oh yeah,
Like,
you're not
where-
like bound to the.
You're not bound to
Official
the broadcast.
broadcast.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not bound to the
You
broadcast.
can like switch cameras and stuff.
and you can privilege certain players and see like
Okay.
what they
So you can go
see.
for this.
Okay. Train center.
Oh, that was a
Oh.
beautiful center. I was just way
No,
out of
that's
position.
okay.
So I was thinking, I'm playing like more defensive because we're up by one, and so I was playing like way back.
No, it's fine. Yeah, so it lets you kind of like, for example, it's designed, I think, to be really helpful for people that are either trying to get better at the game, improve their skill, or just generally train. Because then what you can do is you can select to follow like certain roles or certain players on certain teams.
Yeah.
We did it. All right.
We did do it.
So we're
In-
gonna switch to we'll watch a broadcast.
In execution, it doesn't work
Okay.
very well.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I have never paid
It's
for
kind
it.
of like you can follow your favorite player or something like
Yeah.
that. But I think ultimately what like the problem is like you still don't have a good idea of the action. Whereas in the soccer, the camera's just so high above the pitch, right? And there's no limit, there's no ceiling to the game. Even in basketball, where there is literally a ceiling, the camera is like so far above the action that you can see everything that's going on.
Volleyball is the same.
And you've kind of conditioned your audience to understand how to watch the game this way, right?
Yep.
From an audience perspective. There's no physical audience that can spectate Overwatch or StarCraft or something.
Yep.
And so every esport kind of has this issue where it's like, okay, how does the esport... Yeah, okay, we're good on that front. I'm going to go ahead and go on to Chrome, YouTube. And we will watch 2019
Dave says,
Rocket League.
"Ew, it's gross. I hate it. The entire point of broadcast is curation, so make me do the work is not good." And that's totally fair. And see, like, I'm one of the nerds that would really enjoy we'll just say an option for broadcast where I can choose what it is that I'm seeing, which is its own element of curation, I think. It's self-curation as opposed to, like, broadcasters doing it for me, which I also like just fine, appreciate that. But for the purpose of getting better and following a player in the same way that there is that kind of option for, like, NHL, and I'm pretty sure MLB has the same thing. You can follow certain players and watch their skills kind of progress that way. An accessibility option maybe.
So they broadcast like competitive Rocket League from the perspective of one player at a time, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait. Is this is muted? Okay, good. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure. Yeah. So like here you can see like they're just chopping between players.
Yeah.
Now Rocket League works better for this than like in my opinion Overwatch does. The thing about like so a game that I think actually does this okay is Counter-Strike. And here's why. Because Counter-Strike you have 10 players to start, so it's too hectic. But the most crucial parts of the game are right when it's like a 2v1, right? And then so suddenly it doesn't matter as much if I'm just watching from one player's perspective because all the action is condensed into that one thing that's happening. And so that Counter-Strike rounds had this beautiful, in my opinion, from a spectator, like rhythm to them where it's like we start out kind of chaotic and then it boils down to...
Oh, no, so that's different.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
different.
so
That's
sometimes they'll
interesting.
do that for the kickoff, but typically when you're watching like just the average gameplay, they try to have it whoever's on the ball. So this guy's on the ball, now this guy's on the
okay.
ball, so they're kind of trying to switch between...
Interesting.
Man,
That.
It's
these
just-
people can play.
Yeah, these people can really play
So
this.
different from you guys.
Yeah, because they're just flying through the air, right?
Sorry, I mean like.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to hit the ball,
Oh my
man.
god, like yeah.
Like, I'm just, like, eons behind these people.
So like my most impressive plays like very crudely emulate these guys' play, right? Right, like no, like legit, like
No,
like
but-
my best play from today
Yeah.
was probably that like cross court
Yeah, that was
goal where
so
like
good.
I flew through the air and I hit it and it
Yep.
went on goal.
They have
That's
so
something
much
these guys could do
control.
with their in their sleep,
Yes.
right?
They have so much control, like.
Yeah,
It's
it's
impressive.
wild. Dave says Rocket League has a pretty open point of view, a wild FOV.
Yeah,
I
a very
agree.
wide FOB. So like even when we're watching from someone's perspective, we can typically see at least 2 or 3 of the other players, right?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And so all those things help.
Yeah, my point about Overwatch is because like they have been like implementing like different like stuff, like, not exactly like during the match, but like otherwise to help you like better. That's why they have like such a long time between one match and the other, because they can like show particular like cuts of the match and
Yeah.
to understand some team fights, and they
Yeah.
have like that overhead map that also like
Yeah.
helps you understand stuff. But I mean like it's crazy, like how can you like broadcast that for like
Well, what's really so that's what I wrote my paper for Grusen's class on. Specifically, the way that what that does is it remediates traditional sports broadcasting.
yes
Because we have the exact same setup in a game like I see it mostly in the NHL. That's
Okay.
where I drew a lot of parallels. But just like this process of like give your viewer, your spectator, the best possible angle to understand what you're explaining.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's why I think that there is so much time in between matches. It's not
Yeah,
like they
and
need
they
to
can, like-
go chill out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like go ice your hands, go warm your hands, but like that's what you need, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like then you have all these different segments that they totally drew from traditional sports. Like I don't know if you guys how intensely you watch Overwatch League, but like things like comms check where they have like the voiceover
Yeah.
of all
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
ridiculous team conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And segments like that, like Watch Point even,
Yes.
those are all remediations of traditional sports broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even the banter, like the
Yes.
Like-
Oh yeah, absolutely. The one thing that I'll say Overwatch League does better is
The predictions, like
well,
yeah.
that too. Yeah, absolutely. The predictions are really good. But I don't know if you followed like what happened during the All-Star weekend this year with the Widowmaker battle, where it was one of the broadcasters against like pro players.
Oh my god.
It
Which
was
one, Mr.
Bren.
X? Oh, okay.
It was Brent. It was a disaster, but
Oh
it
my
was
God.
so much fun.
But
to
that
watch.
guy's a joke. Like I mean, like
oh, I mean, absolutely. Yes.
like not in a bad way. Like
No,
he's
in the
like
best
it's
way.
the character. Like
Oh, absolutely. And like just the kind of just hilarity of it, right? They really embrace that in a way that most broadcasters don't, but I would argue at least the broadcasters for the Chicago Blackhawks do. I'll say that. Big nerd moment, but
Yeah.
Chicago sportscasters know what's up.
Yeah. So one thing I'll just note, because we started today, and one of the things Daniel asked about was about metagaming, and if there's a metagame to Rocket League. And I'll say in this game, I've seen metagame moments
Oh my
just
God.
watching. So, for instance, at one point, I saw one of the players juggling the ball in the air. What that means is you're kind of carefully balancing it on your car in the air, which is obviously really impressive. But
Seriously.
then one of the players in the other team went to go intercept the ball. And now what would have been like the proper move, right, is to guide the ball into the goal. But instead what he did is he just stopped dribbling it, like messed up. So the ball went straight down. So the other player is going up. Suddenly they're not going to hit the ball because they were predicting where it would be if he continued juggling
Yeah.
it. And so he
Right.
stopped juggling it to stop it. And so that's a metagame in a sense, right? Because he's
Yeah.
doing the suboptimal thing, but he's in an actuality, he's reacting to what the other person's doing. And so that's kind of metagamey. But I think a lot of times when we think about metagame in relation to esports, we're thinking about, yeah, Morgana counters that particular hero, so I'm going to pick Morgana, right?
Yeah.
Whereas,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
in this,
Yeah.
like, the metagame, like, develops at, like, and, like, more of the minutia of the moment
Yeah.
to moment.
like it's not the
Absolutely.
predisposition that you go into the game. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like oh, I have this deck and I have that deck, and I have this
Yeah.
character and I have that character. Like mechanically, statistically speaking, like this character is better.
Mm-hmm.
And like this deck is better because like it has like the best overall strategy,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's not the same thing here. Like because you can like suddenly change like the way
sports
you're.
broadcast.
Absolutely.
Continue. I was just.
You can like suddenly change like the way you're playing like in the moment. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to like change a deck, change a character. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. You're not worrying so much about what specific abilities are at your disposal to counter. It's
Yeah.
really just, I mean, you walk
Because
in
everyone
with
has
the
the same
abilities, like,
tools at the in the
yeah,
toolbox.
it's really just your kind of innate skill in the game as opposed to something that is given to you by a character or car selection or something.
Yeah.
Although it should be mentioned, there are tiny, but there are differences between like the car bodies and
Yes, there
like
are
their
differences.
hitboxes and stuff.
Yeah, some of the cars
Oh,
have
yeah.
like more slender hitboxes but are
Mhm.
longer
Yep.
or something along those lines. But I'll say that like I think in a practical game, those differences don't amount to too much. The
No.
cars, especially because none of the cars are faster than any of the other
Right.
cars.
Yep.
Like,
Like aerodynamics aren't a consideration, really.
yeah. It's just like the shape of the car.
Maybe
impacts it.
hitbox matters like in a
Mhm.
very like high stakes like competitive like
Yeah.
Like,
You'll
you
see
know-
that a
Yeah.
lot of them have this car, right?
Yes.
Because this
Octane.
is considered the best car because it's pretty long
Mhm.
and it's pretty tall, and so
Yeah.
like it hits those metrics like better than like as opposed to like I was running the DeLorean. I think the DeLorean is like in the 95th percentile for like length, but then it's like in the
It's
10th
really-
percentile for
yeah.
like height. Whereas
Absolutely.
this car is probably like in the 60th for both or 70th
Okay.
for both.
Yeah.
And thus it's like better. But like again, that's really minor. Like here's the like yes, I understand for these guys they have to be comfortable with the car and know exactly what it's going to do and how it's going to hit stuff. But for the lay player, not the
Yeah.
layman, but the lay player, right? Those differences are insignificant because like all they're trying to do is
Absolutely.
hit the ball. Right?
Yep. Dave says in Rocket League, the metagame is about understanding plays and what skill expressions are in play and being able to execute them. Though at the highest levels of play, any small advantage matters.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, I mean this is so crazy.
I just
It's-
doubt
it's a
that
totally
Farah
different game,
here, like even though he's
effectively.
playing this thing, if it, let's say we'll do Chowsit 45 here, Chow. If Chow, I bet you, if he wins the world championship, he's not going to say it's because he picked that car, right? He's going to say
Right.
it's because of all the practice and everything
Yep.
that like his team has done. That's kind of what I'm saying is
And,
like
like,
the
in
players would never point to that as the reason for victory.
But like
Absolutely,
even in a like standard metagame like
Mhm.
thing, like for example, like when the meta, like for example in Hearthstone, when the meta gets like super stable, you have like mirror matches all the time. Like you have like the same deck playing the same deck. So
Yeah.
when you have like the same, like, okay, Hearthstone is not the best example because you have like luck, because you have like
No. Don't put it. Don't put that dirty water on Hearthstone's body.
no, but
All
like
right?
you can have a bad draw. Like
You can have a bad draw.
You can have a bad mulligan.
But,
You can have a
there's
bad draw.
percentage chances, and you play the hand that you're given, and that's what's
No,
exciting about
sure,
that game. It's like
sure.
it's not a bad thing. It's just part of the game.
But when you
So
have
it
a
can't-
mirror match,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like when you have like when you're playing like the optimal deck against the optimal opponent.
Yeah.
It comes to this. It comes to draw. It comes to mulligan. It comes to like your ability to play the opponent as well. Like, the
Yeah,
poker
exactly.
thing,
I
you know?
love playing mirror matches because you both know exactly what resources are at their disposal. I find them to be sometimes really interesting, like because like there's so much like suddenly decisions like change a lot
Yeah.
because like and like it represents a very different way of playing the game. Because so like just for you guys for Hearthstone in particular, in Hearthstone there's like this idea of who's the beatdown, which is like a very core concept of the game, which is basically like one of us is the player who's trying to stabilize and then win the game. This is very common in all card games, or at least all MTG-inspired card games, Magic the Gathering-inspired card games. It's like I'm the beatdown deck, but if I'm the beatdown deck, it's like I have to win before you stabilize.
Yeah.
In a mirror matchup, those things are constantly in flux. Now I'm the beatdown. I have to win quick. Oh, you took advantage. Now you now have our head and ball. I'm now the control. And because I love games where the terms of victory are constantly changing.
Yeah.
And that's what card games can emulate better than practically most other esports. Like in this game, the terms of victory are always very stable. I just have to score more goals than you.
Right.
And that does change though, because you could be ahead and say, "Oh, I have to make sure you don't score a goal," or you could be behind and say, "Oh, I have to score a goal, so I have to take risks to achieve that, right? Or I have to take risks to make sure you don't score a goal."
Yeah, like methods to victory.
Yeah. And so, but I think card games really emphasize that so well. And so, but yeah, so I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like it comes to a point that even like in a very meta gamey game, you know, like it comes to a point that like you have to put skill and like player expression forward because that's like how you win. You know what I mean? Like it's not about just the meta game. Like
Right.
Yeah, Dave's last thing Dave said. So, I agree. And so, I think so. Yeah, so we've talked about some of the main things I wanted to talk about today.
sorry, I for example hate playing mirror matches in Hearthstone.
No,
because
that's fine. I don't want to do them often. Like, but the once in a while when it happens, I find it interesting.
Okay.
Does that make sense? As like,
Yeah, sure.
those are different things
I,
to me.
I feel they are boring because like I know what to expect. You know what I mean? Like, and that's challenging. But otherwise, like, yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's another game where mirror matches are like a thing. Starcraft is mirror matches, right? Because you could be the Zerg bug people, and you might have to play the Zerg bug people. I think, and what's interesting about Starcraft is like then it's like it becomes really a battle of numbers because it can be like I have 10 roaches, you have 9 roaches. My 10 will beat your 9, right? There's like as opposed to like there's like more of a what's the uncertainty, but what's the anthropology word?
Indeterminacy.
No, not Bourdieu's word, like Sally Flock Moore's word for it.
Contingency.
Yeah, so like there's contingencies I guess you have to plan for, right? And when there's not a mirror match. But I love watching mirror matches too, because because both players have the same resources, and so it's interesting to see what they do with those. Especially Zerg versus Zerg. I actually hate Terran versus Terran, so I don't like all mirror matches. But anyways, enough about mirror matches. I want to make sure that we get to everything that we should talk about for today. So one, we talked about like enjoyment, which was really interesting, and how people enjoy things, and toxicity, and why like I think that we felt like there's a disconnect between toxicity and enjoyment, and that's a problem. Absolutely. Right? We talked about metagaming, and if there's a metagame in a game like this where there's no decisions to be made beforehand, and then we also talked a little bit about why does this feel more like a sport than a game that actually emulates real sports. And it was kind of our conclusion. At least, yeah, they're so good. It is partially because sports games tend to emulate the broadcast of the sport more than the activity of playing the sport.
Right.
So, thinking just and like forward about the Olympics, and like this game being a sponsored game, like as in a partnership between Intel and the Olympic Committee of being like a pre-Olympics sport, like. And when we think, I'm just curious, how do you guys feel about thinking of games as sport, like without the E attached to them?
But I mean, like, you can't just throw a question like that.
Yeah, I know, like with 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
2 minutes to go. Well, something to think
Lightning round.
about. Something to think about over
Yeah.
the week at least, because we'll be doing. Well, I'll ask the same question next week for Street Fighter.
I feel. I mean, yeah. I don't know if I have a specific answer, but I feel that like sports, specifically like Olympic sports, like sports as an institution,
Mhm.
it's hard. It's something hard to achieve in games because, like, for example, soccer or like fencing or whatever, like you have like a set of like very specific rules and like material conditions to be able to like execute that in like a formal institutionalized way, you know what I mean? Like you have to like the field is this size and then you have a regulation and
Like-
you have like this is the allowed, like you can use this equipment and not that equipment, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and I feel that sometimes this is like in games, like in digital games, sometimes it's harder to like be able to reproduce like the exact same material conditions every time in order to have like the
Absolutely,
same,
especially
it's just-
with patches and
Yeah.
things of
Yeah,
that nature.
absolutely. So games that are reactive to patches like that, I think that really changes things.
Yeah, and so if we think about, and that's why one of the reasons why regular soccer is in the Olympics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rocket League kind of gets closer to regular soccer than especially FIFA, but like
Yes.
just a lot of games. But here's just a thought to close our broadcast for today. So traditionally we think of like the high jump, right? When someone did the high jump 100 years ago, they're doing fundamentally the same competition as when they do the Olympic high jump today. Same thing with like the 100-meter dash. But do you know what genre of competitive esport or game perfectly emulates this? Speed running.
yeah.
And that's what we'll talk about next week.
Exciting.
Have a
Fine,
fantastic
but, like,
day.
next week's
Have a good
Street
one.
It's
Fighter.
2 o'clock. Yeah, we'll talk about speed.
How can you speedrun Street Fighter?
You can speedrun Street Fighter, actually, but we'll talk. You guys have a wonderful evening.